Hello and welcome to the demonstration of the new customer loyalty connection for Kubota Tractor Company. This video is for dealers who are dealers and their staff who are interested in learning about the new system and how they can use this for improving customer satisfaction in their organizations. Um, we're going to walk through generally the flow of the surveys themselves. We'll talk about how to access the system, and then we'll talk about specifically how you use different parts of the system in your business. So first of all, we'll get into the actual surveys themselves. There's three categories of the surveys: the sales and delivery, the service experience, and the product experience. Obviously, these three different categories are covering different parts of the service experience for your customers. The first one being the sales and delivery survey that occurs 45 days after the purchase. And next would be the service experience, where you're actually able to track how their experience went with a warranty service, and then the product experience, which occurs 2 years after the date of purchase. Um, uh, with the new system, there's a new option to allow your customers to take the survey completely online. The goal is to increase the usage of that format as time goes on, to make it easier for you to communicate with your customers, and to make the experience an easier experience and a little more dynamic experience for your customers. Obviously, we need to make sure to be capturing the emails at the time of purchase to ensure that we have uh, that email address on file so that we can continue to contact the customer over time. To access the system, you'll be logging into Kubota Link, um, and you'll be going to the marketing section within Kubota Link, and then clicking on the customer loyalty connection option. And this will log you directly into the platform. Upon gaining access to the system, this is the first page that you will see. Basically, this is a page for you to be able to see across your different survey categories how you as a dealership are performing. So, for example, we're looking at on this page the sales and delivery survey and the product survey, um, uh, basically showing the overall CSI, or customer satisfaction index score, for the rolling 12-month period. So this is basically from the current date up to one year previous to now. And as you can see, for each one of the surveys, there's a general response rate. So you can look at yourself as a dealer during this time period, as well as during the previous time period, so basically minus 1 year, and then compare yourself with the division and the national numbers. And then down here, you actually have the customer satisfaction index. This is a percentage of the individuals that are selecting very or mostly satisfied on the satisfaction scale. And you can see for this particular dealer, for last year, they were performing a little below the division and national average, but this year they're doing quite a bit better, specifically in the delivery portion of the overall satisfaction survey. Excuse me, the sales and delivery survey. And the next portion here with the product survey is very similar, where you're actually able to make the comparison of the previous year and the current year. We're going to look first of all here at issues tracking, where you're actually able to see how issues are being dealt with at your dealership, and track the contact with the client directly. The issues tracking view is a listing of all of the issues that have been reported for your dealership, either related to product sales or service experience. And within that, there's several different data points that are available. So here we're looking at the survey itself. So this would list either product experience, sales experience, or service experience. Here is showing the information about you as a dealer, as well as the customer's name and information about that customer. The return date is the date on which the survey response was received. Um, Model number is for the particular tracker that the response is associated with, and then as is the serial number. Status is one of several different values that can be associated here. So initially, when a new issue is reported, it is given the status of open. So this is an issue that has not yet had any actions taken with it. Also, there's the investigating status. So this is after an initial contact from a member of your staff or an initial investigation into what the issue could have been. This occurs after making a change to the record, and then the close is obviously when the actual issue is resolved for the customer. Here we can see that there are two flags. So there's a dealer and a product flag. In the case that there's an issue with the product, as in this case, there's a flag here, and then here if there was an issue with the dealer. To gain information about the actual customer complaint or issue that was given, you actually click on the name here, and that opens up a new window. This brings up a window of the detail regarding the actual issue that was reported. In this case, we're looking at customer John Doe with dealer number test. In this case, it would, or in a normal situation, this number would actually be your dealer number. There's also a flag here for the loyalty, basically whether this individual is considered at risk or not. The status being the same that we discussed before, and then the survey is the product experience survey, and then the return date just as before. Now, you as a dealer or your staff can actually come in here and add comments and change the status right in this view. So the add comment selection, you can come in here and type in your actual comment regarding the issue, and have that dealt with, or show the actual process of dealing with the customer. Upon closing the window, you will see this view again, where you're able to see the full survey response by clicking on View Full Survey. This view shows in greater detail the information about the actual survey response that was flagged as an issue for this particular dealer. So in this case, we're looking at John Doe, who lives in Anytown, USA, and is associated with Example Dealer. And we can actually look through and see where this individual has had issues. So looks like the transmission operation, there's a neither satisfied or dissatisfied response there. A very dissatisfied response for the steering system, and dissatisfied for the starting and charging system. So it looks like there are definitely some issues here that could be looked at for this particular customer. And down here we actually see where the customer has rated the quality of the product as dissatisfied. So in the case that the product or the service experience questions have a dissatisfied or somewhat dissatisfied response, that is the occasion when a given response will be flagged as having an issue. As we scroll through, we can see more looking at, for example, service work. It looks like that so far has been a good experience for this particular customer. They're expressing very satisfied or satisfied on all of the responses. And down at the very bottom, there is a location again to add a comment, so that you could, give a comment regarding the contact that you make with this individual. Generally, this is a good view of how you can actually look at a particular response, make a comment on it, and save that. Upon closing that window, you'll go back to this view again. In the case that you've actually resolved the issue for the individual, you can change the status to closed. This will close out the issue entirely, so that no longer shows up as a flag for your dealership. Next, we'll look at the reports, looking at the aggregate data for the survey responses. In this case, there are 4 reports, those being the loyalty, the satisfaction, CSI, and demographic reports that are viewable within the tool. The loyalty report is a very important view of the data that allows you to see an overview of where potential issues are arising in your organization. So, for example, here we're looking at all of the different metrics associated with the different products. So, for example, we're looking at service experience, the construction, sales and delivery, construction product, the mowing product, mowing sales. You can see where those are actually broken out as separate line items here, so that you can look into issues that are occurring on each individual product line, as well as the general service experience for customers. So in this case, we have several different categories again that we're putting these into at the loyal, neutral, and at-risk categories. So that determination is made based on the questions that are associated with loyalty, those being the overall satisfaction with the product, the service, and then the likelihood to recommend the product and the service, or the product and the dealership, excuse me. And in any case where where one of those questions has a response of very dissatisfied or dissatisfied, they will be flagged as an at-risk individual. So in this case, we have one response that is considered at risk. In this section, we have a total of 8 that are neutral, and then a total of 12 that are considered loyal customers. So this is a very good, a very useful method for training your staff as far as how they can deal with potential issues and learn from each other. For example, if in this case we have the mowing and sales group where there are 2 that are in the neutral section, it may be worthwhile to have the mowing group talk with, for example, the construction group who has 0 in the neutral portion, and make the comparisons and be able to learn from each other on that kind of approach. Also, this is exportable to PDF. Next, we'll look at the satisfaction score report. This is a little bit of a different report in that all of these comparisons are being made on the level of the dealership itself compared with the division and all dealers nationally. In this case, all of the dealers are in orange, or you as an individual dealer are in orange. The dark green color is associated with the division, and the dark gray color is associated with all dealers nationally. So in this case, we're looking at several different metrics here. The first one being willingness to recommend the product. The dealership itself is doing very well relative to the division and the national number. Similarly for the recommended dealer question. Oftentimes the question comes up, where is this number coming from? Is there a sufficient response rate to make any sort of a determination? And actually by putting your mouse cursor over each of these bars, you can see the actual number of survey counts. So in this case, there's 12 responses for the dealer. It's a reasonably good response rate for the dealer. Now, for each one of these views on this page, there are several things you can do. Excuse me. We can change the report view, so we can change the view to, instead of looking at overall satisfaction, we can look at service scores, parts scores, sales scores, etc. That's all coming from the product survey. Similarly, we can look at any of the sales and delivery surveys, similar metrics. And then the time frame can be changed so that you're looking at a fiscal year to date, the rolling 6-month, rolling 12-month, or a 2-year comparison. Once you make any of these changes, you can click on Update Report, and it will change the view that you're seeing on the screen. Another nice thing about this is that there's a PDF output. Again, so if you'd like to print this out and make it available to product managers or team managers within your group, then you are able to do that. We're going to just run one example here with the 2-year comparison. So I change this to 2-year comparison and I click on Update Report. This view allows you to see a comparison of how your dealership is performing year over year. So in this case, we're seeing some improvement generally in this for this particular dealer. Looking at the 2010 numbers here compared with the 2011 numbers here. So, for example, the willing to recommend product has gone from 90 to 94.4%. The willing to repurchase has gone from 85 to 93.8%. And similar to the previous view, there is a comparison with the division and all dealers on the chart as well. And as you can see, there are several different metrics here that are all very useful for looking at generally how things are changing over time. Next, we'll look here at the CSI score page. This is a very simple report, but is helpful for you as a dealer to see next, basically side by side, how your dealership is performing in regards to service as well as sales and delivery. Essentially, you can change the time frame on this. This is also exportable to Excel, so if you'd like to export this and make it available in a PowerPoint or something like that, that's also possible. Lastly, we'll just look at the demographic report very briefly. This particular report has several different options where you can change the date range, also the product or series that you're looking at, and then it's exportable to PDF and Excel. This gives an idea of the demographic or characteristics of the responses that have been submitted for your particular dealership. So again, this is the customer loyalty connection demonstration. For any questions regarding any of the functionality of the system or how to better utilize the system, please forward your request to the corporate service customer service department.